Thank you very much. Welcome to another great session today, the 9th of December 2025, a very special day. Should I use special? It's a very serious day because we are commemorating the International Anti-Corruption Day. And today's activity, we have a small forum where we're going to have a discussion with the youths who are key in this specific year's commemoration. From our panelist side, we have very serious team. We have human rights activists. We also have a representative from the youths, a Gen Z. They will have their time to introduce themselves, and we also have a very major partner to us from an organization called Transparency International. But they will also have their time to introduce themselves. From me, my name is Ibrahim Kiplagat. I'm the programs lead here at Uasin Gishu Journalists Association. And I really appreciate having a very a very serious conversation around anti-corruption and how the youths can actually shape this fight. From the theme, there's a section that says we are shaping tomorrow's integrity. That means the fight is not for today only, but also for the future. So maybe as I begin, I will pass it to the panelists to introduce themselves. Karibuni sana. Maybe I'll begin from the right side.
Good morning. My name is Anoane Tandisi from Transparency International Kenya, sitting at the North Rift Regional Office. I'm a project assistant under the Natural Resource and Climate Governance. For us as Transparency International Kenya, our vision is a corruption-free society, and our mission is to champion the fight against corruption by promoting transparency, integrity, and accountability.
My name is Esther Namarome, a student at Kabete National Polytechnic, and also here as a youth representative for Hubs Media.
I'm Kimtai Kirui from Center Against Torture. Corruption is a cancer.
As you've heard from that panel, we have serious people who have serious knowledge from the ground. They have actually experienced what is actually happening in our county, and they are here to engage with the youths, specifically you, the youths, the Gen Zs, as people would like to say. But for me, I'd like to bring all the youths together, even the millennials, because we have a few of them here. So maybe to go back, our partners for this specific activity is we have Transparency International, we have Conrad, which is under CAS, we have the European Union, and also the Uasin Gishu Journalists Association, who will be implementing the project here in Uasin Gishu County. So the theme for today is around uniting with the youth against corruption. And this is the reason as to why we have the people here to discuss this matter with us. As you've heard from Kimutai Kirui, he said that corruption is a cancer. And I would really like this conversation to be a very open conversation where all your opinions are valid, because this is a fight not for only one generation, but it's a fight for each and every one in this country, because corruption is really causing so much problem in this country. And not only Kenya, also Africa. So welcome. Maybe I will begin with one question. So with this question, the microphone will pass through you guys. So you can give your opinion, and before you give your opinion, just give an introduction of who you are and what you stand for, or where you work from, or where you study, and also what you stand for against corruption, or you are for corruption, because there was a discussion I had with some people. It was a very serious one. So karibuni sana. Let me start from my left. So the question is, what do you think about corruption, and does it affect you as a person?
My name is Immaculate Chiruto. I'm studying at IRAGS College. So I can say corruption really affects me in different ways, especially let me start from the roads. Traffic police always ask for kitu kidogo, hivyo ndo wanasema. So it really affects me cause tutenda tusimamishwa hapo, wastage of time, like the police are asking for that kitu kidogo. Nimepoteza time yangu. That's how it affects me. Another way ni, I can say nepotism also. because I've experienced this, because when I was looking for a course to do, I was told to do hospitality because I have someone who is doing a work in one of the biggest hotels in Kenya. So I was told to do hospitality so that it could be easy for me to get job through that family member. So that's how corruption inakuja. Yeah. So my stand for corruption is tuepukane. Like, it's a very bad thing, as our panelists say that corruption is a cancer. For real, inaumiza, because a lot of people are going through a lot.
Hello, good morning, everyone. My name is Fanis Jolimo, a student at Kabarak University. So what do I think about corruption? I think corruption is a cancer, like one of us said. Because, let me bring this to picture. So picture yourself, you're trying to get a job. Maybe you find a family organization and you're told the other person, one of the interviewees, is maybe related to the boss or the manager of that place. And you, on the other hand, you don't know anyone. And you fail to get that job because the boss is like, he's my family or she is my family, so let me just do this for her. So corruption, it suppresses others. When it comes to jobs, some of us really need the job. But if you give it to someone, well, everyone does need a job, but some of us just need it. So the other person becomes suppressed in he or she doesn't get the job. Someone who is better or well off gets the job. What will the other person do? So yes, it suppresses others. And there are forms of corruption. And I will say, well, corruption is harmful. But this kind of harmless corruption, maybe among friends, do this for me and then I'll do this for you. So for me, I can say that is the kind of corruption that has affected me. It is not that harmful, but it is still harmful. So corruption begins with us. And for us to make it better, to get rid of this corruption thing, look at yourself. When you go meet someone, or when you're in a simple conversation with someone, or the usual play, try not to bring in these little forms of corruption, like do this for me and then I'll do this for you. So yes, it begins with us.
Hello, my name is Jaylin Chenangat Lopokoit from the Eldoret National Polytechnic, also an advocate against FGM in West Pokot County. So I'm gonna sum it up to just a few words. If corruption benefits me, then it's a good thing. If it doesn't, then we start fighting against it. So that is my stand. I'm not pro anything. Niko hapo katikati.
My name is Mukopi Brad, former student, mass media and communication. I'm not working. I'm an online influencer. So what I have to say about corruption, I think corruption is the key to success. Because corruption is good, as Joelina said, it's good when I'm involved, but when I'm not involved, corruption is bad. I'm very sure right here, right now, we are saying that corruption is bad because we are not involved. Yeah, but when I'm involved, it benefits me. Then I'm sure I will say that corruption is good. You see, the other day I was collecting something at my school there, and the bro was very biased. The one who was in charge was very biased because he was, I think he was favoring ladies. Yeah, and I was very bitter for that. But there was nothing I could do because he knows why he's favoring them. Because I was at the line for almost 5 hours. And there was a certain lady just came because maybe she looks good. She just entered. You see, I've experienced a lot of corruption many times, and I don't think that corruption is going to end soon. Because even the other day, I had my friend who was applying for a Mujengo job. The job was ilikuwa barabara road. So bro was Isaac Wanyonyi. So he was told to go with the ID, identification card. So if the ID could have read keep or chip, he could have gotten that job. But because the manager saw the director of there saw Wanyonyi, he said no, you must be born from Uasin Gishu. That's how we can give you the job. So I felt him because that was corruption. So I don't think if corruption will ever end. That's my opinion.
My name is Thomas Kiror from the Eldoret National Polytechnic. From my personal view, corruption is a very bad act in the society, just because it's something that it has started for a very long time. Back in the village, there was a time you are told maybe you want to be sent to posho meat. So when you deny the request, then you start asking your parent, if you don't give me a 10 shilling for buying bina, I will not go. So I think corruption will not end soon. So maybe we fight to reduce, but it will not end, according to me.
Well, thank you very much. My name is Edmond Kipmweno, Vice Chair Uasin Gishu Journalists Association. What I can say about corruption is that it is a vice. It is a disease which has been inclined in the society. It has taken very deep roots, and it's upon each and every stakeholder in the society to be in the forefront to ensure that a fight to reduce it is on course. Because when we look at corruption, when corruption takes toll in the society, there is no trust. There is loss of resources, loss of money, loss of many things. Because let's take, for example, we have there is a project which was supposed to be undertaken by the government, and the resources has been allocated, and in one way or another the project fails to take off, or a certain amount is not utilized. Then if it was a project about water project or road project, then the society, the people living in the society fails to get access to that resource. And I'm saying this because no one, if we can speak at this moment, all the sectors, corruption has actually affected. And for us to fight, for us to reduce the corruption, it starts with each and everyone in all the sectors. The journalists can be on the forefront. The civil society sector can be on the forefront. In the education sector, each and everyone plays a critical role, and it is a call that we empower. We know, in Kenya we have Ethics and the Anti-Corruption Commission. It's actually need to be empowered so that there is prosecution and heavy fines for those who are found with culpable engaging in corruption. My take or my submission is that corruption can be reduced. We can even eliminate, but we have to ensure that each and everyone is engaged, is able to look for ways to ensure that it can be eliminated, it can be reduced, so that the resources which were supposed to be used is actually being used in an intended way. Thank you very much.
So my name is Ruth Sang. I work here as an editor, and what I can say about corruption is that it doesn't affect the country, but it affects us all. Let's say no to corruption. Thank you.
My name is Ivy Nyaboke. What I can say about corruption is, like my friend over there said, corruption is only bad when you're not involved. I mean, if you have a chance to have, like, you have finished school, you have a chance to get a job, and the only way you can get it is by maybe paying someone to get a job. Of course, anyone will try hard to get the job. That's how you can find a job. If not, you'll just stay at home, maybe work, hustle, get stressed. And even with this corruption, it's bad. So bad that most of the youth, we have seen incidents where youths commit suicide. Some decide to use like drugs and stuff just to relieve stress and stuff, just because someone has studied over the years and hajapata kazi. And when he hears someone has gotten a job through connections, something like that, it's harmful to us. But again, I can say it depends on how we all take it. If we fight corruption, it will be better for all of us. Or if not, we can just go on with how life goes.
Corruption is good only when you are involved. But I'm about to say, when you are not involved in corruption, you also get, in some way, the corruption affects you. Given, for example, in Nandi County, I think 1 year ago, there is a leader who employed most of his family members because he had the chance to. But then later on, they realized that the government of Nandi County, not because there was no opportunity, but because there were many people who were employed. When you go there, you'll find, like, maybe in hubs, this is the sister to this, a cousin to this. So all of them were later on wakatolewa wote kwa kazi, meaning all of them went jobless. Asa hata ule mtoto mwenye akwa corrupted or something, his parents, due to corruption in walipitia backdoor, they are being affected for having jobless parents or not able to do something else because they are now out because they were. So we can't say corruption is good, but sometimes it's good, but not good every time and then. It's good for someone, if you know you're about to do corruption or use backdoor, make sure it lasts. Not something you just enjoy for a bit, then unashikwa tena. Yeah.
My name is Keter Sheila, a student at IRADS College, pursuing journalism and mass communication, and also I'm a CNA nurse. What I can say about corruption is that corruption is real, and I can say corruption in a ni real na iko kila mahali na ni mzuri kwa ule mwenye ameingia ndani. So corruption ni tamu kama ushaingia ndani kwa hiyo kitu unataka. So kwa wenye wajajaribu corruption ni real na ni powerful, kwa sababu mimi naweza sema tu mali tuko sahi kila kitu ni corruption. You can find in a organization or even in a hospital, you can find some nurses they're not qualified. Ukipata makaratasi zao si real and even though unapata mtu ameshaingia huko na ana skills, lakini akishafika huko ndani ako na skills later, anaanza kulana huko ndani. So it is real na ni powerful na iko. So mimi nasema corruption iko tu sawa. Mimi naweza sema tu iko tu sawa kwa pia ukijaribu, lakini inaumiza wengi na pia iko na naweza sema effects, ina increase poverty. Yeah.
Yes. Kwa majina ni Linda Kisia. Nasoma katika shule ya kitu ama ni kitu ama ni shule. Chuo. Nasoma katika chuo cha Sigalagala. Corruption, kila mtu ako corrupt. Hakuna mtu anaweza sema yuko corrupt at this point. Corruption ilianza hata ukiwa mdogo. Hata mimi sasa nafanya corruption kila siku. Si corruption unafanya kila siku. Si unaambia ndugu yako osha vyombo alafu ndakuletea sweet jioni. See, that's part of corruption. Me can say corruption ni kama tu daily routine, kama kuamka kufanya kila siku unafanya corruption. Na I guess that ndo maana imekuwa tu kama kitu normal, cause sai hadi si matatu haifai watu wakuwa wamejaa, but watu hujaa. Ukipita hivi unaona konda amesalimia polisi kama tumesonga. Corruption tu ni routine. Sasa mtu anasema haiko corrupt, anasumbua.
Okay. Hi everyone. My name is Brian Rono. My view on corruption is that it's good when it involves you, as you said, because there's this time, there's a friend of mine I knew, he wanted to pick his certificate from school, TSC certificate, na huko alikuwa anadaiwa pesa mingi sana. Sasa kufika huko akapata tu cleaner wa hiyo kampuni, wa hiyo shule, hiyo TTC school. Akaambia nataka certificate yangu, lakini pesa nadaiwa huku ndani ni pesa mingi sana. Sasa cleaner akaambia uko na 1,000. Sasa jamaa kusikia 1,000 akaambia niko nayo. Akaambia epu ileta hiyo 1,000. Akachukua 1,000 akaenda, sijui labda alikuwa anajua mahali hizo certificates zinawekwa. So after some few minutes cleaner anarudi, akona cassette, just a newspaper. Kumbe huku ndani ameingiza ile certificate. So kama angelipa hiyo pesa, hiyo certificate angepata, si ndio? Kama ingekuwa wewe ungefanya aje? Ungerudi useme sina 1,000 kwa sababu sina 1,000 na sitachukua certificate yangu, na umeitwa kasi kesho. So you can see corruption is real. It will not end soon. Even though it is a crime or a disease, it won't end soon. Thank you.
It sounds like a bigger percentage feel like corruption is good, because when it favors you, so when you have that money you can give. From Pokot County, the experience from Pokot County and Uasin Gishu County is totally different. Do you feel like corruption has affected those people who are vulnerable there? Let's say the women who don't have money. Because umesema, for those who are saying corruption needs to be part of the community. Think of that vulnerable person, that woman in the community. When you hana pesa, she has like 5 children. She needs service, tuseme hospitali pale nyumbani. So for that position, do you still feel like corruption is valid? You know, people die because of these issues of corruption. There are certain counties, maybe you might feel like maybe corruption works for us. Maybe it works for you individually, maybe in your home. But the truth of the matter is the vulnerable in the community. It's just that you haven't maybe interacted, maybe you haven't viewed that direction. From the CSOs, when you walk up, they will share with you what they've experienced. But it is a serious, serious problem out there. You see, you can find in places there's no water. But the budget was allocated, money was paid for dams. Now that community lacks water because a few billions. Unajua siku hizi watu wanasema billions ni kama it's a little amount of money. I wish mtu angetuelezea what they know a billion looks like and what a billion can do. It's a lot of money. So I feel like when you say it fits you personally, you should think of that vulnerable person in the community. And remember, you're not immune to becoming vulnerable in the community. At one point, you will become vulnerable. That is when the statement you say that in a kusut, when it's for you, utaanza kujiuliza maswali mingi. So maybe I will now dish it to I think we have had an opinion from the youths. So I will now move it to our panelists, and I will start with a serious organization. I don't know why I'm using serious today. Can someone give me another vocabulary? From Transparency International. This is an organization that we are actually going to partner with as Uasin Gishu Journalists Association in a program that is going to interact with the youths. And what they are doing out there is a lot. And I feel like this information that we are going to share with you here today from the organizations that are here, you should be keen, because there's technology around fighting corruption right now. Because this generation is a generation that uses technology in every aspect. You want to buy anything, your phone. You want to sell anything, your phone. You want medication, you want whatever, the technology is there. So this organization has technology in place for fighting corruption. And they have been in the space for how long right now? 25 years as an organization. So you can imagine the amount of knowledge they have.
Thank you for this opportunity. First, from just what I've gathered, we call it Corruption Perception Index, yeah? And so first of all, before maybe I just highlight some of the things maybe that we've done and all that, what we've just gathered from our team here today, from the youths here today, I'm also a youth, it's that the perception about corruption continues to be negative all along. There is a global research that we do as Transparency International, the global organization. For us, it's Transparency International Kenya. And I think I want you to be so cognizant of that. This is TI Kenya, and then we have the global one. So TI Global releases a study that we call the Corruption Perception Index, and the last one was for 2024. I would like you people to go and just find out the rating that we received as Kenya. It rates the countries in terms of their scores and then of course the number. So for Kenya, we had a score of 32 out of 100. And it looks at various things that happens. So in terms of maybe service delivery, in terms of access to justice, just a few things that maybe you can check it out. So, and then another thing that I would maybe like to say, we also have the county governance survey status reports. This one rates the counties in Kenya in terms of how the governance processes are. And then of course we have another one that is called the bribery index. So this one rates like for example, if it is the police, if it is the those public entities, and the perception that people have about them in terms of collecting bribery. And then we had a recent one that is called Rubber Meets the Road. Rubber Meets the Road also is a good report that you can check it out to inform your research about corruption. So basically, I want us to also understand the definition of corruption. A universally accepted definition is abuse of entrusted power for private gain. Abuse of entrusted power for private gain. For you to have performed in corruption, it means there is a power that has been vested on you. So you are using it for your private gain. So I think basically if we understand that, we'll be able to link the effects of corruption, we'll be able to link the perception that we have about corruption and every other thing. So I think for Transparency International Kenya, and also as people who have been working on corruption, we look at corruption in a 360 degrees angle. For example, if you say that corruption is maybe benefiting you as a person, what about the other person? So at this point, we are looking at access to justice, we are looking at access to public aid and services, we are looking at leadership and integrity, we are looking at public finance management, we are looking at climate governance, we are looking at the natural resources, all those things. For example, I would maybe want to just give you a snippet of something. For example, if you go to Eldoret High Court, for example, I'm cocksure, and even this one was documented, you'll find a person who has been there looking for justice for around 10 years. Then you want to tell me, seated here today, that corruption is good. Is corruption good from that lens? We went to Turkana, a place where they're mining gold. And I think my colleague is here. I would also even maybe want to share even those pictorials with you. They're mining gold. From you people here, you've heard even sahi ukiambia uko na gold, unajua tu you have a lot of money, but when you look at the lives those people are living, yet they are mining gold, I'm telling you, you wouldn't say corruption is good, even if it is benefiting you. How many people are trying to access maybe services from hospitals which are public hospitals that they pay with the taxpayers' money, and yet they are not able to get those services? How many people in other places, students are learning on trees, on buildings even that you cannot see it, yet you're saying corruption is good? I want you to just picture about that. Yes, it can benefit you get a job today, but what about the people tomorrow? What about those people that are looking for these services? What about the tax that we pay that is deducted from you people each and every day? The fuel levy that is collected. When you go to some places, ladies who are supposed to maybe even give birth, they are going to hospitals, don't have even access to those maternity hospitals. They don't have access to those level 2 hospitals. That is how bad it is. Some people are getting out of those rural areas to just come, for example, to Eldoret's MTRH hospital to get a service. Yet, from our constitution, from the taxpayers' money that we pay, we are supposed to access services at the closest people. When devolution was brought, it was our hope that people will just be able to access those services and access those opportunities. That is what I want you to get out of here from your mind, that corruption is bad, corruption is not good. It will benefit you yesterday, but what about tomorrow? What about the young people that you are raising? What about the people of tomorrow? That is how bad corruption is. So I think for Transparency International Kenya, we've been able to take this fight a notch higher. And we just reviewed our strategic plan and what we are looking at even as the elections are forthcoming. There is what we call election campaign financing. Right now, for us as people maybe who are unemployed, this will be the moment where corruption will also be benefiting us for this case. Those who are saying that they are looking for opportunities. So we'll just be trying to link maybe elections and corruption, because this is one of the fields also that corruption thrives. And then another thing that I would like to maybe say, for civil societies, we've been able to champion this fight, but of course it cannot be civil societies cannot be the only player, they cannot be the only actors, because here we need issues like policies. For example, if you are saying the constitution under chapter 6 talks about citizen leadership and integrity, for example, leadership and integrity, when you want to elect people, 2027 we shall be moving forward to an election period. We are being told, for example, TI had what we call the red card campaign. Red card campaign was highlighting people who have integrity issues that are maybe not supposed to elect. But what will we do? We shall elect those people. Are we seeing where we are failing as people? So I think fighting corruption is a collective responsibility that should not be left for civil societies alone, but should rather be a collective effort that me and you, together with the state, because for laws to be passed we also need the state. So I think going forward we should all maybe put our effort together and just be able to put our heads together, be able to identify new ways. In this space we are headed to Vision 2030. For example, we have digital tools. For example, as TI we have the Wajibikaji Pamoja platform that can help you fight corruption, to report corruption cases, and then we have issues like, for us under the climate governance, we have what we call the Climate Finance Watch Tool. Climate Finance Watch Tool, in this case, for example, we had the money that we were given by World Bank as Kenya. This has been implementing a project called FLOCA. How many of you have heard about FLOCA? FLOCA is about to end come 2027, and it was being implemented in each and every ward in 45 counties. Nairobi and Mombasa are not implementing because they don't have a rural setup. So for this tool, it monitors the climate finances that we've been given. So for example, there are some, as Uasin Gishu County, we were supposed to be deregistered at some point because we had not maybe remitted, because for FLOCA to work you are supposed to give a certain amount to the treasury, then treasury adds you another one. So Uasin Gishu had some queries. So I would like to urge you people, please find out this information, be what we call even the whistleblower, be a whistleblower. You've been given examples of corruption issues that you've experienced. I want to pose to you a question. What did you do about them? What did you do about them? Because I had someone gave money to receive a certificate. What did you do about them? What did you do about that issue? So I think we've sat on them. We've normalized citizens. We are lacking what we call citizen apathy. So basically, what I want to demystify today is corruption can never be good, and it is not good. So thank you for the opportunity.
Hi, thank you very much. Sijui kama your perspective has changed, hata kama ni kidogo, ama still bado you lie towards the side of that corruption is good when it favors you. Because most of us always see ourselves as the tunaitanga star or the Rambo. You always see yourself in the side of benefiting. You've never seen yourself this other side. So maybe from our next panelist, Mr. Kimutai Kirui, nataka nimkaribishe sana. He's a human rights activist. Now, if you're keen in the stories about corruption, fighting for justice in Uasin Gishu County, you have seen him. Some of them even we've reported from here as Hubs Media. So nataka tu from his perspective aeleze tuone kama it can change your perspective as a youth from the experience that he's had in the ground. So karibu sana.
Asanteni sana. Kwa majina na Kimutai Kirui, wengine wananijua kama watchdog. Nafikiri wamesikia jina kwa muda. So sina mengi ila kusema corruption inaanza na wewe, haianzi na mimi. It starts with you at the other end, and that is the citizen. The government is not involved in any form of corruption. It's always the citizen na that duty payer, yule mwenye anakufanyia kazi ya serikali kwa upande wa serikali, ndio muna influence awe corrupt. What is corruption anyway? I'll try to kuweka vitu 1, 2, 3 tukianza na ethics and anti-corruption, mbona tunaambiwa ni ethics and anti-corruption? And this year's theme is about the youth. Muna unite the youth towards what? A better tomorrow, I think so. Ama inasema namna gani? Shaping tomorrow's integrity. So which means inaanza leo. So you find ya kwamba ethics and anti-corruption ni two sides of the same coin. Ethics ni our own moral compass ambaye nauliza what is right. Once umejua ni nini iko right kwa nikifanya, you know, it's encompassed on mambo ya integrity, mambo ya transparency, mambo ya accountability, and above all responsibility. Unajua mara mingi tumekuwa tukipigana kwa streets, be it in Uasin Gishu or elsewhere. Unauliza ni nini yako hapo? Ni nini yako hapo? Mtu anaibiwa kwa street, unaona mtu anaibiwa kibeti, anaibiwa simu, but you don't want to assist that person kupata justice. So wakora tumembolden kwa kutowajibika kusaidia mwenzako ku access hiyo phone, kurudisha hiyo simu. So mkora anajua nikinyang'anya huyu jamaa simu yake hakuna mtu wa kusaidia ile mwingine. Are you getting me? So tumefanya ya kwamba this kind of theft, kind of corruption is part of the system. Kama ainihusu mbona nifuatane nayo? So we must know what is right and what is wrong. So when it comes to anti-corruption, on the other hand, provides the tools and systems to stop what is wrong: bribery, embezzlement, and abuse of power. Kama mwenzetu nimesikia mwingine anasema hapa haiwezekani, we've given in to corruption. So tufanyaje? Tukufe ama tufanye namna gani? So that simple one voice can change things. Wewe peke yako can change. So it always starts with you, not us. So forms of corruption, vile watu wamesema: bribery, extortion, embezzlement, fraud, nepotism, and influence peddling. In fact, this is the worst form, influence peddling. Peddling is understood as a form of influence peddling, which is a type of corruption involving the misuse of one's position or connections in government or public office for private benefit. Hii ndio inafanya mpate kazi, haujui mtu. So if we don't come together, one voice, ongeza voice za utingine, transparency wako pale, we love kupika media hapo wamekuwa focal on so many issues in Uasin Gishu. If we don't support them, they will be submerged. So youth, you don't care about what's happening on the other side, so long as wewe you're comfortable. Umepata chupa yako moja leo, umepata ya nywele leo, you don't care about other people. Tumeelewana? And then once I'm compromised, I don't know what is right and what is wrong, na sitaki kusaidia mtu kwa access hiyo justice, hii kitu inakuwa institutional. Imekuwa ni kitu ya kawaida. Ukienda polisi lazima utoe bribe. Ukienda kwa barabara lazima upeana bribe. Ukikuja kwa media hapo ndio news iende, lazima upeana bribe. Ukienda kwa civil society ndio kusaidia pengine police station, lazima utoe pe. Are you seeing now? They are now inaanza kuwa ni institution, inaanza kuwa pattern, parcel of us, inakuwa culture yangu na wewe. Na ilianzia mtu mmoja. So when unethical practices inakuwa sasa the norm in society, DK imeanza kuingia, rot imeanza kuingia. So unajua nikienda leo police station lazima nitafute pesa ya kuonga police station. Nikitaka kuenda kwa ethics and corruption lazima niwe pesa kuonga hiyo mtu ndio nisifungwe. So the culture imekuwa hiyo. Mtoto akisaliwa vile DJ alikuwa anasema lazima apewe sweet ndio akimbia alete mama maji. When we grew up unaambia leta maji ama toka kwa nyumba. So it's a responsibility, you know, lazima nilete mama yangu maji hata kama utaenda shule. It's a responsibility. So sisi zote tumeabscond our individual responsibility towards society. And if you are not going to serve society, how do you expect that society to serve you? Nisipokusaidia kesho sitakuwa kwangu. So we must come out kabisa. So why it matters? A public service from healthcare to education failed those who rely on them. Trust in institutions erodes, making it harder for society to function. Corruption becomes self-reinforcing. Today's corrupt act lays the groundwork for tomorrow's. So inakuwa self reinforcing. Inafika mahali penye corruption inajienforce tu peke yake. What we are doing today inakuwa kazi ya kesho. Ina lay groundwork ya kesho. Where youth come in. Young people are the guardians of integrity. You can expose wrongdoing, report corruption, and raise awareness. Like some of us, tumekuwa kwa hii social media, the digital economy. Ile kitu imetusaidia ni digital, we create awareness, advocacy kwa social media. Mnashikana watu wawili, you talk about something, bingine kuna kitu umeona county government, kuna employment, mtu mmoja kama mtu alikuwa anasema ati Wanandi wanaandikwa peke yao pengine kwa MTRH, you come together and talk as a youth. This thing we don't want at Kabila andikwe, we want, yani you come together na through the social media. Social media isiwe mambo ya kwenda kutafuta tu pombe na kukunywa pombe na kuji nice partying. Are you getting me? So you use those platforms to create awareness and advocate for your rights in terms of employment, creating conducive environments. Sio kama tunaelewana hapo vizuri. Demand transparency, push leaders to operate openly and fair. You push. And we've pushed these people. Bako wanasikiza. Juzi mliona kama Tarbo kuna machine ya health center ilikuwa inatolewa. We use social media mpaka ikarudi. Hatukwenda police station, just social media ikarudishwa. Youth again wanna innovate solutions. Use technology like apps, AI or blockchain to monitor and prevent corruption. It's possible with the youth now. Mnyinyi mko na hizi masimu. Mkishikana watu 1000 leo na uweke information on a certain issue, mbona government is wasikiza? So you youth again should lead by example. Practice honesty and ethical behavior in your schools, communities and networks. Together youth can break the circle by challenging institutionalized corruption, demanding accountability and building integrity from the ground up. We ensure that institutions serve society, not just insiders. So naona inaanzia sisi ikenda juu. Lakini sisi Kenya inaanzia juu, ati ndongojea bengine mheshimiwa aongee, governor aongee ama pastor aongee. It should start from us. We shape our own community as we want it to be. Message: stand firm, speak out, lead with integrity. The future of a fair, just and prosperous nation depends on your action today. Mambo ya kesho inaanzia leo. Civil society groups and government agencies work hand in hand to support corruption, advocate for reforms and build structures that protect public trust. Their role is not to cover up the bills but to fight them. We just expose. Wakale njingo na msema nasema kiwage magesi kiluchi iko. So ayena sasa zamani kuna you don't fight na ayena una shout. So ayena sinaenda ndio watu wakunywe maziwa. Shouting alone helps a lot. So hiyo sauti kupiga tu kelele tu. The government hata president hata angependa hiyo sauti. Governor hata penda hiyo sauti. You shout against something in peaceful and legal means. And this is where youth come in. Young people are the nation's conscience. They bring energy, ideas and technology to challenge corruption and demand ethical leadership. Whether in schools, communities or online, youth have the power to lead by example. Nyinyi tu vile mko. Ndio naona siku hizi hapa Eldoret mmeletewa pombe nyingine second generation mpaka mjujui. That is corruption. That is corruption. Mnatumika kutusiana one term, two term. That is corruption. It's not about two term or one term. It's about issues. You know, mambo mnaweka upande hii ni one term na hii ni two term. Sasa the main issues hapa inakuwa samida in between here. So that is corrupting the mind of a young person. So mkatai mambo ya one term, two term. Na mwangale, what are the issues bedeviling you as a youth? Unemployment, conducive environment ya kufanya biashara. Yes. Juzi unaona 1500 youth walirudishwa KDF. Kwa nini? Kwa sababu ya drugs. Who give you these drugs? Our leaders ndio wanaleta these things through the airport. Here is how: promote integrity, live ethically, speak up against wrongdoing, leverage technology, use all AI, blockchain and apps to track and report corruption safely. Kuna safe way of reporting it. Msijiendeja tena again mpaka mnakamatwa, mnaabductiwa. Lazingine kuna don't cross the border also. Even us tunajua. Lazingine kuna mahali tunasukuma governor, even the president. Ukifika mahali una retreat kidogo. So long as the message imefika nyumbani. Advocate for reform, push for fair laws, youth representation and ethical governance. Educate and raise awareness. All forums, discussion and campaigns to instill values. Vile tumefanya sahi. Instead ya kwenda parties, timba, tamasha. Simuenda mahali mkae chini. No, there's a problem. Employment. No, there's a problem. Mentorship. Juzi, sitaki niongelea another which politician. We were asking him, mbona una culture ya kwenda kulipia DJs kufanya harambee kwa DJ ama mwanamuziki, lakini hutaki kwenda parliament kucreate a policy kusaidia vijana in mentorship academies ya wanamuziki ama DJs. Are you getting the concept? The concept is that this man anataka DJs because ako na club. So anajua these DJs are pools either ya siasa ama kwa club ya. Are you seeing vile mnatumika corrupting the mind of a youth? So youth again catalyze action. Observe elections, launch initiatives and make corruption socially unacceptable. Badala ya kutumika kwenda kupigana vita kwa polling stations ama tallying centers, you are supposed to bring innovative solutions. Watu nyako na digital whatever, mnaeka vitu kwa polling center, results zinakuwa relayed. Si lazima hiyo media. You form community based organizations ambaye inahusiana na watu wa media. Get registered. Wakati wa elections mnafanya hiyo kazi. So ethics give youth the moral compass, anti-corruption gives the tools. Together they can empower youth to hold leaders accountable, protect public resources and shape a fair, prosperous future. So stand up, speak out, lead ethically. The future of integrity depends on you. Sio sisi. Mimi already I'm almost, nimeanza kuona in next 3-4 years nitakuwa nimetoka. Some of us want to go teach maybe in the universities and whatever. Tumechoka na activism. So nyinyi msipoamuka, who else will take over? Who else will take over? Mmeona jamaa tulikuwa naye hapa. These are groups, lobby groups from US. Wanaona kazi ile inafanyika Uasin Gishu, wanaona ile kazi inafanyika Kenya, so they want to be part of it. Things squeeze ni community driven. Na msione Mercedes Benz vile iko, ukiambia vile Mercedes ilianza, au utatamani kuishi kuendesha Mercedes. So let us start from tuanze small. Na tuache uoga. We do things right within the law, and the constitution of this country gave us so much powers, ili tupatia sisi raia mamlaka mingi. But instead ya kutumia hiyo katiba kujifunaishi, make use of it, tunaanza kuworship wanasiasa. So sisi wa youth tumekuwa corrupted mpaka tunafikiria solution inatoka kwa member of parliament, inatoka kwa MCA, inatoka kwa governor. Solution come from us. Let's say no to corruption, unethical behaviors, and this country will be better tomorrow. Na si lazima uandikwe kazi in a way. Kwa sababu mbona uuze shamba uandikwe jeshi 700,000. Once umeandikwa jeshi 700,000, unaenda kutafuta loan kwa jeshi ndio ununue shamba tena. How we really thinking? Hii 700k ongeza biashara ungekuwa wapi by the time unaenda kutafuta loan? Una loan unalipa for 20 years kwa jeshi. So we are corrupted in the mind. Thank you so much.
Sina maoni. If that has not changed your perspective, utaniona nyuma ya tent. So from my end, I don't have much to add. This was just supposed to be a conversation just to get your perspective on corruption, and you discuss with the people in the ground who are actually working towards fighting corruption. Na pia kuspark the conversation among you as the youths and the Gen Zs
because the solution, as we've said, it comes from you. Kwanza the youthful, the young people. It comes from you. So kwa wale walikuwa wanasema corruption ina msuit, take your time, just think about it. Maybe later you can text me or send me an email or talk to me. Useme tu what are the solutions that you think can actually be used. Hata kama inakaa very funny or weird, just share. You never know, maybe when you're genius we've been waiting for to help us solve these challenges. And also they've mentioned about tools. Kuna kitu Kirio amesema that usiende kureport corruption endanger your life, because there are several people wameuliwa because of kuguza sana wenye wako in power. There are ways you can actually air your views, especially kwanza hapa ni journalists wengi. Hatujui, you might become an investigative journalist. You never know, but there's no story that is equal to your life, yani for you to die from the Media Council of Kenya, even though I'm saying. So there are tools, especially from Transparency International, there are tools that are available for you to report on corruption. And also for the journalists, you can liaise with our association, the Uasin Gishu Journalists Association, where we can protect you and see how we can get your story out there without you being smeared as the whistleblower for it. So from my end, I don't have much to add because of the time that we had. It was supposed to be a very short conversation, and this one cannot end today. And the conversation does not end here. So wherever you go, I hear we have advocates here. You can add that element, because corruption affects each and every aspect of our lives. Our lives meaning your life. Kwanza ya kazi. Na mchukue kura, because wamesema from Transparency International, the one for elections financing. Mchukue kura. That is where it begins. Wewe kupiga hiyo kura uchague mtu ambaye unataka. So thank you very much. Maybe if there's anybody who would like to add anything, but Elvis, as the representative. Oh, our email. Oh, my email. Person. Okay. So kiplagat.ibrahimke@gmail.com. Just share. Wenye wako na namba yangu, sitaeka hapa hivi. Wenye wako na namba yangu, text me. You can even write me a note. Just to see what is your goal. Unaona mtu anaweza solve aje. Kuna mwingine aliniambia warudishe kunyonga watu wenye wameiba pesa. If you feel that is, just share. Nobody is going to judge you. I'm going to share it with you guys so that you can see from the conversation how this specific forum has helped you. I hope we've influenced your change. Yes.
Just to inform you, and as TI today, from our Nairobi office, we have a function from 2 p.m. We are awarding actions, integrity actions awards, and I don't know if the link was sent to you people at some time by I think those were in the larger group of Uasin Gishu Journalists Association. Normally we award people who their actions have are geared towards integrity, transparency. So for example, we have the Judicial Integrity Awards, Whistleblower Awards, and then we have whistleblower, and there is another one, Leadership Integrity Awards. So normally we send out calls for nomination. Even you as a person, if you feel maybe you have done an action that wants to be recognized, you can do that. Our previous awardee, I don't know if you remember the case that was whistleblown by Sankale for Masai Mara University. I don't know if you people remember. He was one of our previous awardee. And then we've also had this senator for Busia, Okiya Omtata. So those are some of the things that maybe as youths we're just trying to also maybe find a way to also maybe reward youths so that their actions, they can be able to be brave to report these issues. And then of course maybe just tying to what Kiria said, there is what we call the whistleblower policy that is towards its tail end. So for the whistleblower policy, it was TI was also supporting it. So this one will maybe protect the whistleblowers against maybe the retaliation that you could receive, maybe fear of intimidation and all that. Because sometimes people fear to report corruption because of the fear of the unknown that might happen. And then just to maybe champion or to call out for something, we can also use the Twitter Spaces, because we are in the digital era as youths. We can use the Twitter Spaces, and I think this worked well last year during the finance bill, yeah? And of course also in terms of just maybe when they call out for bills or acts, policies that maybe the parliament call out for you to send your memorandas, please send your memorandas, because these bills sometimes pass because we don't send our opinions or maybe our input towards that. And then of course this time you can send even your views via email or via, they are linked. So please, if bills are called out, kindly participate, kindly inform others, attend public participation forums, because these are places that we can also air our voices as youth.
Just to appreciate you for taking your time to be part of this conversation, appreciating the panel. Niona ni kama sijampea nafasi ya kuzungumza. I am very corrupt. Lakini I'm very sorry for being corrupt. Let me give her a chance to speak on behalf of the youths.
Mine will be, I'll dwell so much on the theme of this year, uniting youths against corruption, shaping tomorrow's integrity. My question will be to Mr. Kirui and the TI Kenya. What initiatives have you put in place when it comes to uniting these youths against corruption? And as you can see in Kenya, 70% of the population in Kenya are the youths, and mostly we are the ones who are affected by this corruption. So that is where the term comes in. Corruption is only bad when I'm not involved. When I'm involved, it is good. Ideally, I will say, as you've seen in the room, 80% of the youths in here have said corruption is only bad when I'm not involved. So what initiatives are you guys putting into place? I'll take it with this perspective. Most of the time, we have seen the anti-corruption, the EACC, arresting prominent people, arresting governors, arresting former CSs for corruption and embezzlement of funds. And yet after, let's say, a week, the case is not being, the proceeding in the court is not being followed up to the latter. You see the person again, amerudi kwa kazi as a normal person. So what are you guys telling us? How are you guys uniting us as youths? And when to fight against corruption? When we talk of corruption, in our mind, we will just say, sema, wanawashika, then wanawaachilia. How are you going to convince us to fight against this corruption? Because it is starting, they said corruption should not start. It starts from us. But if we are trying to end it and uko juu, they are not promoting it. They're not considering it as a big issue. Why should you now come and try to tell us that we should just unite to fight against corruption? And yet you know very well the people in the power, the people up there are the one not encouraging us as youths to fight this corruption and to unite against corruption. Another thing is you've talked of digital platform and sensitization and how to protect yourself from getting into trouble with people involved with the corruption. Now, if we don't speak or if we don't push them to the limit, how are they going to stop it? If we really don't push them to the limit. And if we push them to the limit, it's us who are being affected. Like kidnaps, abductions, and deaths, we're being affected very badly. So I'll even fear to unite with you guys to fight corruption, because if I unite, if I speak, you will tell me that's propaganda. And there is also this law that was enforced that media sensitization, because the government saw that many youths were saying the vices that are happening, the vices that are happening in the society, and now you want to sensitize it. You are not freely talking about it on social media platform that is supposed to help us to be whistleblowers. So there kidogo, as a youth, I will not agree with you if you're telling me you need me to fight corruption, and yet there is no solid initiative that you're putting into place for me to be convinced fully that I really need to fight this corruption.
So I think one, I would want to say that as TI, we sat down at some point, of course, with other actors, the civil society, and we saw what was ailing us as maybe Kenya by people fearing to report was the lack of a whistleblower protection policy. And that is what I think I tried to say. So most people, by virtue of what happens after them maybe whistleblowing a certain thing. For example, I would say like, I don't know if we are aware of someone called Nelson Amenya. Nelson whistleblowed about the JKIA, the Jomo Kenyatta. He was the one who whistleblowed it via Twitter. So, X-Space right now. So, we've been pushing for a whistleblower protection policy. In fact, as it stands now, it has stuck at the executive. Yeah, it was sent for views, and then, of course, after we've given our views and all that, normally it's supposed to go to the cabinet executive, then that is the last process. So I think as a nation, if we have the whistleblower protection policy, because I think we are aware for some things to happen, we need to have policies. Legislative frameworks are very important because even what guides us now is the constitution. So for us to be on the safer side, we saw it fit that we have a whistleblower protection policy. And then another thing, maybe to just give an answer to your question about the mandate that EACC as an independent body has. EACC has a mandate, does not have a mandate to prosecute. Yeah, are you getting me? To prosecute. What EACC can only now maybe initiate that process and all that, but the process of prosecuting is what they lack right now. And I think even yesterday or the day before, the chairperson, Dr. Ginde, spoke, and what we are pushing right now is to give EACC the mandate to prosecute. Yeah, that's why even if, for example, an issue like there was this governor that was arrested and he was prosecuted and all that, the judgment was passed, he was supposed to be arraigned and all that for Samburu. Lennon Kulal is a free man right now. Why? Because after all that, he went and appealed, and of course you saw him the other day with President Ruto somewhere. I just want to confirm there are no Subarus, but for us as TI, we don't fear anyway. So the governor was seen somewhere with President Ruto and he was saying, walinishika and all that. You see, those are some of the things. That is why, as people are collecting views on maybe the trust that they have with EACC, they say they prefer civil society organizations rather than the independent commissions for the country. Those are some of the reasons. And then also I want to give an example of this governor, Okoth Obado. You saw him. They were conflicting. EACC said the court did not give them time to give their submissions and present. So that is where we are having a conflict. But of course, that is something that has been submitted, and the civil societies with other actors are following up just to see whether EACC can be given further mandate. And then sometimes they also say that they have conflicting, maybe limited resources sometimes. Yeah, you would report a case and then they tell you now we don't have mafuta and all that, because even right now we were supposed to be having a colleague from EACC in this meeting, but because of other issues he wasn't here. So those are some of the things that we are trying to do. Then I think in terms of bringing the youth, for us as TIA, we recently just launched a project that is called Tally. I don't know if we remember that Kagazeti that was called Shujaz tunaikumbuka that gazeti ka small one. So we are working with Shujaz, we are working with these youth, five organizations that are dealing with youth, and that project has been launched last week on Friday. It's called Towards Accountable Leadership for the Youth. That is where we are intending to just now shift the focus fully towards youth. And then of course I've said, because we are alive to the fact that electioneering period is coming, we are switching gears so that we basically involve the youth a lot, so that because I think what affects us most is the people that we are putting in power. As Senior Kirui said, I think sometimes we are being used at this moment to maybe participate in electing people, and the recent statistics, youths are the most, they have a larger percentage, and they will play a major role in 2027 elections. And I just want maybe to even maybe give you maybe a call to action. You see what happened during the last year finance bill, yeah? If it were not for the youth, then that thing would have passed as it was. But because of our actions, so I wouldn't want to say that we are not involving the youth per se, but it is also our collective responsibility. So maybe if we are called to action, for example, if you are seeing these bills, if you are seeing these whatever, we should just maybe come out. And then of course the last thing on there's this law that has been passed, the one you are saying, it's called the Cyber Crimes Act, the one that President Ruto signed on the day Marehemu passed. So that bill passed because initially we didn't even give our submissions. That was one. Our submissions were very minimal. But right now I would want to tell you that there is a case in court. 2 people went to court. Of course, the civil societies were involved. We played a major role, and they have put a halt on it. So probably it is not being implemented right now. But that is why I began by saying I normally tell people public participation forums are important. Giving submissions and memorandums are important, because that bill will not be appended to a law today if we would have given our submissions, and it was intended to be used so that we are not able to maybe raise our voice in 2027. That was the major underlying fact, because we not be able to maybe post something and say this one has won, see what the elections will not be broadcasted. Ukipatwa naye kwa simu, you would be in for it. Sawa. So I think those are just some of the things that maybe I can say we are trying to incorporate youth. Initially maybe there are some things that zimewekewa youth but they were not being considered. For example, kama wameweka pesa ya disability na pesa ya youth ni percentage fulani, hatukuwa tunafuatilia. Pia sisi youth tumefika ile point ya wacha gava ifanye vile inataka, si wafanye tu, tumeshachoka nayo. So I think right now we are trying to, kama umeangalia hata mimi kuongea kwangu mara ya kwanza, I wanted to shift your mentality, yeah. It is a mental shift first. Kwa sababu sasa hata leo nikikwambia tokea tuende kesho streets, utakubali kwenda? Hapana, because you don't believe in the fight against corruption. So I think here it's a matter of citizen apathy, it's a matter of the mental shift. After shift your mentality yetu, now we can begin to work now towards the shaping integrity and of course fighting corruption. Because kama waze kama hawa nenda retire. When you look at 10 years ago, civil society space na activism ya hiyo wakati si kama ya sai. Kitambo watu walikuwa waogopi kwenda kotini. Kitambo watu walikuwa unafungiwa sijui wapi. Juzi tumekuwa na someone called Nyakunde, I don't know if you know him. Tulikuwa na alikuwa na to train vile. Sasa sisi hata as TI tunajaribu kushift gear, tuangalie corruption na elections zinaendana aje na political temperature. So alikuwa anatuambia kama yeye alichelewa kuoa kwa sababu gani, alifungiwa jela for like 12 years kwa sababu ya activism. But right now sisi ukitingizwa tu hivi kidogo, ukiambiwa tu we umesharudi na uko nyuma, ushapewa Ibrahim ametumiwa 100,000, ameambiwa atapewa position, amekubali. You see, those are some, that's why tulikuwa tunasema hata mimi tuseme maybe leo Esther ambiwe unajua tutakupea slot hapa, nyamaza, funga hiyo mdomo wako. Esther atanyamaza. Kwa sababu gani? It's not atujangalia ile the larger picture, tumeangalia sisi wenyewe. So tukishift from that point, ndo I think tutakuwa united to fight corruption. And of course it's not a one day thing, it's a continuous process.
Shukran. I think kuleta youth pamoja sio ngumu. if the youth wenyewe are willing waletu pamoja. So inaanza bado na wewe na mimi. I remember we had 2 big scandals in Uasin Gishu, the Finland and the First Choice. So mnakumbuka hiyo vile ilikuwa nikitoa inakuwa naguza wakina Mandago, naguza wakina Chalilim. Hata Chalilim is not even half the cook sahi. Ni ile tu youth wenyewe waligawaika, mole wengine walipewa pesa wakatoka. So how we brought the youth together was one. What is your problem? Mimi ndani shule. Then what is the problem? Tulipa pesa. Tulipa wapi? County government. Tulipa nani? Mtu fulani. What have you done? Tumeenda police, atusikizwi. No, we want to make you part of the solution. Usiwe pale kama youth na solution iko upande ule. You own this process. So we told them, kwa sababu this is about the government, this is about influential persons. Tutaenda barabara. Then we had a big problem wakati huo hapa Uasin Gishu. Tunashukuru media hapa kwanza kwa sababu walitu support and the radio stations. Most mainstream media wakati walikataa kukuja ku cover these events. What I did personally, nikaenda Nairobi nikatafuta watu wa BBC. Kwa sababu najua haitakuwa covered hapa, watakanyagia. Tutaenda barabara lakini haitaenda wapi? Juu. Nikaandika barua ya petitioning ya kwamba we want to picket. Nikaandika police. Saiki watu nikaona polisi wakakatakata kidogo. So what we did, tuka stage manage demonstration. Tukaenda, ilikuwa Island ama wapi? Island. Tukajifanya kama tunafanya maandamano, lakini si maandamano, tunafanyia enclosed place. Hiyo kitu kaenda viral. So next day tunafanya the second one, tumeandikia police wa sure ku disperse sisi kwa county commissioner's office pale. So tukaambia youth wengine waje tujifanye kama tuko kwa county commissioner, wengine waanze hapa Moi Girls. Yo picketing. Umeelewa? So police wanani monitor upande ule na mimi najua watu wataanzia wapi? Hapa. Kidogo nachukua pikipiki tu once na kukimbia. Kufika pale police wanatupata kweli tumeanza. Wanaangalia kamera ya BBC. Toka piga simu, hiyo maova yao BBC naona wameanza ku full cameras. Wakaambia waachilie hao. Naona. And then to go to my position some courageous youth waongee wakina Masi Tarus and the rest. Kufika pale chini police wametudivert, wanataka to divert out of town, twende wapi? Mustuni. Masi was so strategic, akaingia kwa police bila anything, not armed. Police wakafungua and we took proceed. So to incorporate the youth and media as an element ya kuleta kitu outside. And you know what the government hates? Ni kitu itoke nje. That's why we are telling you social media platforms are very important, very essential tools of communication, tools of advocacy and raising awareness. Kwanza nyinyi youth mko na hiyo advantage because you have these things. Kila mtu akona simu. Umeelewa? So the second aspect ni petitions. Nyinyi mmesoma. Nikufunza tu how to do petitions, kuandikia county assembly, tuliandika county assembly, tukaandika senate because we wanted that legislative framework again to come into place. On the other issue of to be on the safe bounds, watu wanaogopa kwa abduction, watu wanaogopa kupigwa. You know, kuna kitu nimeifanya hapa Uasin Gishu. Magari ilikuwa naibiwa apart from here in Finland. Na wenye walikuwa naibi magari ni police, DCI. Na sio peke yake, kuna mingi mpaka hii ya mashamba wanahusika na wanasiasa ndio wanaua watu kama hii ya Kokwas. Unakumbuka juzi Kokwas alikuwa anaua watu na kuchukua mashamba. Your motive should be clear and the intention isiwe siasa kufuta chini mtu. You know what we usually make mistakes in ni kwamba tunaandika things kuweka chini Chalilem kama governor, kuweka chini Sudi kama MP ama kuweka. That is the worst thing. Mtu atasikia mbaya. So we enda address your issue. If Chalilem anafanya something to do corruption, hiyo issue, lakini usitumie hiyo issue kama kutoa Chalilem kwa kiti. Are you getting my intention? Are you getting my what I mean? Don't use it kama unataka kufuruta Chalilem atoke kwa kiti. Just bring out the issue as it is. So intention and the motive is very clear. Ile kitu inafanya watu wanakufa sana, wanawawa, is when you personalize. You attacking Chalilem ama certain MP ama certain figure, alafu unaingilia mpaka unaingilia bibi, unaingilia familia yake. It's so painful. You personalize issues. Leave the family out of these things. Leave private life ya mtu out of these issues. Bring your issues clearly. Hiyo ndio inafanyaga watu wanawawa. So nilikuwa nawaambia ile ya police, when we started this thing, magari ilikuwa naibiwa Eldoret kabisa. We followed mpaka mwisho, mtu akatuma from Nairobi kuja kufanya uchunguzi hapa. Alifanya uchunguzi na konkana vile tulikuwa nasema. So mwenye alikuwa ametumwa akanita siku moja hapa Sirikwa. Kaniambia ndio kitu imekufanya hata hujawawa kwa hii kitu. Ni kwa sababu ile kitu umesema umeraise. Na tulifanya na Lumamu. He was a journalist. Na uno Lumamu. He's a veteran journalist. Alikuwa Nation. He wrote some things in the Citizen Weekly na kaandika kwa Law Monthly magazine. Akaniambia vizuri, ile kitu umefanya amujawawa ni kwa sababu polisi ameangalia ile kitu mumeandika ni ukweli, haujaongeza na hujapunguza. So ile pain haingii mtu. Ni ukiongeza mtu kitu kidogo tu hivi, ku exaggerate, inastai hiyo enga kwa mtu. That is the beginning ya kuwawa. So always be factual. So I think in media mnajua be factual. Just be within the limits. Mbona uongezee mtu ufanye nini? Hiyo ndio inafanya mtu anasikia uchungu. Alafu mwisho you always give mtu exit. Paka ni yako, maziwa ni yako. Paka upate kwa room na ufungie kwa room, atakuacha kama umeweka kwa ukuta mahali. So always give those exits. Yaani unaona tu umesukuma mtu kufika mahali unaacha. And then procedures ya sheria. If you are within the law also, sidhani kama utakuwa na shida. First choice alinipeleka kotini. First choice we went to social media. We brought out issues. Mwisho akaamua kutumia kotini kutustaki na kwamba tunamharibia jina. Ile kitu ilitusaidia kotini ni ya kwamba what did we do? Tulireport hiyo kitu police station? Yes, it was reported. Ilikuwa under investigation? Yes, ilikuwa nafanya uchunguzi. So we became safe. So always ujue hizo safe events. Usiwe tu unaandika vitu tu hivi. You must be within the legal parameters. Mambo ya kesi zinaisha. We know vile mwenzangu alikuwa amesema ODPP siku hizi una problem. We need restructuring kwa ODPP. It's a rock body. I'm sorry to say so. Ni rock. Tulifanyia maandamano ODPP hapa ndio watolewe Eldoret. Wale wanajua media walikuwa mlikava hiyo kitu. You know, wakili amefunzwa sheria mpaka anajua jinsi ya kufunja sheria. So these are the people who are letting out these people. So if EACC kweli wanasapewa the power to prosecute na wafanya vizuri, the better. But now tukipatia police, tukipatia ODPP nini EACC hiyo powers, si police wataitisha kesho, and other bodies wataitisha kesho. So the only thing is just to professionalize ODPP na tuwe na oversight bodies ambaye wanachunguza ODPP. ODPP are rock because police wako na IPOA, Internal Affairs Unit, magistrate and judges wako na Judicial Service Commission and other bodies ambaye wanamulika hao. Media mko na media council ama mna nini ya kuchunguza nyinyi, na kuna media complaints whatever, lakini ODPP wana, there's nobody supervising activities of ODPP. ODPP can withdraw a case leo, anayepeleka kotini leo, saa 9 ametoa. So they have so much powers. Na nikitu tumepigana mpaka tumekaa chini na director mwenyewe huko juu. So hii ni kitu inatakana katiba ibadilishwe. Do you know a court of law cannot direct ODPP to do anything? Hawezi. We've had Mr. Nyakundi alitoa orders. Huyu mtu wa registrar, land registrar kamatwe. They said you cannot direct us, we are independent bodies. So we did another Supreme Court advisory ruling about the 14 arms of independent bodies, EACC, ODPP, na gani gine, National Land Commission. Hatujui kama ni the fourth arm of the government ama wanafanya kazi namna gani. You know, it's a gray area. Wanafanya kazi yao vile wanataka tu. So hiyo ni mambo mengine. So ODPP has a problem. We need to restructure, we need to tell them tunataka watu wako oversight. That's why now cases zinaanguka tu vile wanataka. Tumekuwa jana West Pokot, kuna watu tuliona nao West Pokot jana. DCI wamefanya uchunguzi. Shamba ya watu 60,000 acres wanapatia watu 10. Yaani unanyang'anya community shamba wanapatia watu 10. DCI wanafanya uchunguzi. Wanasema mtu fulani astakiwa wa land adjudication na mtu wa land registrar. Inafika kwa ODPP wanasema tustakia, wanakataa. Are you seeing now how it is? So ODPP is where now the center of corruption. Na tumepiga kelele and we are still ongoing. Eldoret tulipata so much 1 year, 2 years, 3 years ago. Tulikuwa na shida ya mambo ya mashamba, recruitment agencies. Mtu anakuambia nini, nitafute wakili na nasalipa mtu wa ODPP. Na kesi hizi enda. So we need to see what we can do with the ODPP. Mwisho cyber crime. Najua watu wengi wameingishwa baridi kwa hii. Vile tumesema be factual. No evidence. When I enough evidence, know what you are doing. And sheria naye ni kitu is an animal ambaye haina form, ni formless. So avoid disinformation, avoid propaganda, avoid vitu nye haina evidence kabisa, wachana hiyo utakamatwa. And there is no way utasaidika hata na media council or in other bodies. So always be factual. Make sure whatever you are advancing, you know you have the evidence, and if possible, you report to relevant authorities. Kama ni kitu ambaye ni criminal, peleka police station. Kama ni kitu nahusika na wakili, andikia barua tu. Hata kama ni the Advocate Complaint Commission, andika tu barua. Ndio itakuwa it will be your cover. Kama ni media wamefanya kitu fulani, tafuta media utaandikia. Kama ni TSC, andika barua tu, something small yenye itakusaidia kesho ya kwamba mimi already nimeandika barua over this incident, lakini hawajact. That's why I'm coming on social media. That's how we are becoming safe. That's how we do our things. Ukiona tukiwa social media, at least kuna vitu tumefanya mahali behind the scenes. That's why nobody come after us. So kila kitu safety, security inaanza na wewe. Jangalilie. And kama hujafika kiwango ya kudeal na these big shots, anza na wadogo kwanza, handle small things. Ukikuja pole pole ukigrow. But the future ni yenu. Kama mtaka kuchukua leo, that is your problem. That is your real problem. Your real problem. Sisi wengine sasa we almost tuna exit tu kuangalia. Gen Z, responsibility kwa kwenu, kwa mkono yenu sahi. Lakini imezemekana Gen Z squeezing they party more than anything else. Tulikuwa Baringo, tulikuwa nafanya observation hiyo by election. Gen Z walitumika jioni kuja kuitia pesa. Hata kama hakuna pesa hatuwezi piga kura. Wanakuja late in the evening. Wenye walipiga kura ni wazee. Then the same Gen Z hawana kura. So we are shouting. So even the government, the leading coalition inajua these people hawana kura. Na hata saizi nani wana kura hapa? Nani wana kura? Angalia. Una idea like una kura. So you cannot hold any government, any leader accountable kama wewe mwenyewe una kura. If you didn't elect the president, you didn't elect the MCA, you don't elect the governor. Sasa utaongea nini? Ni kama I'm married, nimeoa bibi. And then you want to tell me ati hiyo bibi yako ni mbaya na una hata bibi. Yeah? Umeelewa? So let us be accountable to ourselves, tuanze na sisi. Thank you so much.
Wow, time imeenda. I'm not going to add anything. Esther, I hope uko sawa. Thank you very much for taking your time for the panel. Asanteni sana for taking time to be here. For you the youths, umeambiwa I'm just a moderator. Kazi yangu ni kuleta watu ambao wanawasaidia. Hata mimi mwenyewe nimelearn so much and I feel like the power belongs to you. Ni hayo for today. Thank you. Remember to like, subscribe and share.